Hi and welcome to another 5-minute session, and this time it will be about the texture coordinate and specifically generated. So what is generated? Well, if I take it to the surface here, you can see that we get a lot of nice colors, and those are representing the range for the axis. So we have a 0 to 1 range in each direction. So you can see it's very dark down here, so that is 0, and then it goes up and you have 1 here, and as usual I can separate it, so I just drag here and write separate X, Y, Z, and then it's easier to see. So you get 0, 1 in the now X direction, and if I use the Y direction you get 0 to 1 in the Y direction, and if I use the Z direction you get 0 to 1 in the height here. So it's simple as that. But what can we do with it, and how do we use it? Well, you can put an image to it, or you can add a texture. So if I just put in a texture here, we can say that I use the noise texture, for instance, and take the generated to the vector and the factor to the surface. And we can take away the normalize just to see it more clearly. Then everything is just placed nicely without using a UV map here. But the thing is that since the range is 0 to 1, then it will follow the shape of the model here. So let's say that I scale this in the X direction. Then you will see what happens. So SX, and then I scale it. And then you can see that you drag the texture out. It will be distorted in the direction that I now scaled it. So we don't get a nice pattern if we don't have something that is very uniform. As soon as we have something that is more in one direction than in another, it will scale in that direction. So you will get this. In some cases this is really good, because if you, let's say that you would like to do some bark on a tree, well, then you just use a cylinder and this noise stuff will go perfectly in the right direction. So when you want to distort in the same way as you have your model, then generated is perfect to use. But it also has this limitation, so always think about that. If I scale something, the texture will follow in all directions, X, Y, and Z. So if I scale this up, you can see it goes in the same way here. So beware of this, but if you use it in the correct way, it will look nice. So as I said before, if I take the cylinder, so mesh and the cylinder for instance, and scale that up to Z. So now I have a very long cylinder and I use the same material on that one. You can now see that we get this bark here, and then it can play with the details and so on as we normally do here, and perhaps also add a color ramp for it so we get some color on it. So converter, color ramp, make this like brown or something, and this a little bit more, I don't know, darker like this, go down, something like that. Could be that this, I don't have to change this, it's just that it looks nicer if I do. So now you can see it almost looked like a tree in this case. So that is how generated works. It's a rather simple way to do stuff, and you don't need a UV, but it distorts in the same direction as your model. So that was all I have about that, and I will just see you tomorrow, and then I take something new from the texture coordinates. So I say bye for now.